The Milky Way galaxy shudders as an unprecedented energy surge erupts from Earth, a cosmic shockwave that heralds humanity's mastery over dark matter. In a subterranean laboratory beneath the Swiss Alps, Dr. Stephen Cooper stands before a gleaming array of machinery, his hand hovering over the activation switch of the world's first dark matter reactor. "Initiating final sequence," Stephen announces, his voice steady despite the weight of the moment. The reactor hums to life, bathing the cavernous chamber in an otherworldly blue glow. Streams of data flood the surrounding monitors, confirming what Stephen and his team at the Global Dark Matter Initiative have long theorized. They've successfully harnessed the elusive substance that comprises over 80% of the universe's mass. As the reactor's power output surges beyond their wildest expectations, Stephen's elation is cut short by a sudden alert. "Sir, we're detecting multiple anomalies in near-Earth orbit," a technician reports, her voice tinged with confusion and concern. Unbeknownst to the GDMI team, their breakthrough has caught the attention of the Illyrian Empire, the dominant alien civilization in the galaxy. Light years away, in the corridors of Illyrian High Command, urgent discussions are underway. "The humans have achieved what we long thought impossible," growls Admiral ZYX, his tentacles writhing with agitation. "We must assess this threat immediately." Within hours, a sleek Illyrian vessel enters Earth's atmosphere, cloaked from human detection systems. Its sole passenger, Rosa, the Empire's top xenobiologist, watches the approaching landmass of Switzerland with a mix of curiosity and trepidation. Back at the GDMI facility, Stephen receives an unexpected visitor. "Dr. Cooper," a voice calls out, startling him. He turns to find a tall, alien figure standing in the doorway. "I am Rosa of the Illyrian Empire. We need to talk." Stephen's mind races, grappling with the sudden confirmation of extraterrestrial life and the implications of their interest in his work. "Welcome to Earth," he manages, extending a hand in greeting. "I suppose you're here about our little project?" Rose's multifaceted eyes narrow. "Little? Dr. Cooper, your little project has sent ripples across the galaxy. Show me everything." As Stephen leads Rosa through the facility, proudly demonstrating the dark matter reactor's capabilities, he remains unaware of the storm brewing beyond Earth's boundaries. In the depths of space, alien fleets mobilize, their trajectories locked on humanity's home world. The Illyrian Empire convenes an emergency council, debating whether to extend a diplomatic hand to Earth or crush this upstart civilization before it can threaten their dominance. Meanwhile, in the shadowy corners of Earth's governments, classified reports begin to circulate, hinting at the approach of multiple alien armadas. The United Nations scrambles to assemble a crisis response team, with Stephen hastily appointed as the chief scientific advisor. As he steps into an emergency session at UN headquarters in New York, the weight of humanity's future settles on his shoulders. "Ladies and gentlemen," Stephen addresses the assembled world leaders, his voice echoing through the tense chamber, "we stand at a crossroads. Our mastery of dark matter has placed us at the center of a galactic stage we didn't know existed. The choices we make in the coming hours will determine the fate of our species." As Stephen speaks, Rosa observes from the shadows, torn between her duty to the Illyrian Empire and her growing respect for human ingenuity. She clutches a data chip containing crucial information about alien weaponry, debating whether to pass it to the humans. Outside, the night sky fills with unusual stellar activity as alien probes enter the solar system, their sensors trained on Earth. Humanity stands on the precipice of a new era, unaware that their pleas for peace may soon be drowned out by the drums of an interstellar war. The Milky Way holds its breath, waiting to see if this fledgling species will become its newest power or its latest casualty. As Stephen concluded his address to the United Nations, a palpable sense of urgency filled the chamber. The assembled world leaders exchanged glances, their faces a mix of awe and trepidation. In the ensuing moments, A wave of unprecedented global unity swept through the room. Dr. Cooper, the UN Secretary General spoke, her voice steady, your breakthrough has thrust us into a new era. We must act swiftly and decisively. She paused, scanning the room. I propose the immediate formation of the Terran Defense Council, with Dr. Cooper as our chief scientific advisor. All in favor? A chorus of "aye" echoed through the chamber, the vote unanimous. Stephen, still processing the gravity of the situation, nodded his acceptance. Within hours, the newly formed TDC convened in a secure bunker beneath New York City. Stephen found himself at the head of a table surrounded by military brass, political leaders, and scientific minds from across the globe. Our first priority, Stephen began, pulling up holographic schematics, is to fortify Earth's defenses. I propose a network of dark matter-powered satellites to create a protective shield around our planet. Admiral James Hawthorne, a grizzled veteran newly appointed to head the UN Space Force, leaned forward. How quickly can we deploy these satellites? Dr. Cooper. With global cooperation, we can have the first wave operational within a month, Stephen replied, his fingers dancing across the holographic interface. But we'll need to establish similar defensive measures on the ground as well. As the TDC set their plans in motion, activity in Earth's orbit intensified. The first dark matter-powered defense satellites were launched, their advanced sensors scanning the vastness of space. On the ground, similar defensive systems were installed at key locations around the globe. In the GDMI facility beneath the Swiss Alps, Stephen and his team worked tirelessly to refine the dark matter reactor. During one late-night session, a startling discovery was made. "Dr. Cooper!" exclaimed Dr. Yuki Tanaka, her eyes wide with excitement. "Look at this energy pattern. The reactor isn't just generating power, it's creating localized gravity fields." Stephen rushed to her terminal, his mind racing with the implications. This could revolutionize space travel, he breathed. Artificial gravity, advanced propulsion systems. The news of this breakthrough spread quickly, reaching Admiral Hawthorne at UN Space Force headquarters. The Admiral immediately recognized its potential for space warfare and ordered increased funding and resources for the project. As Earth's defenses grew stronger, the Illyrian Empire watched with mounting concern. High Commander Zaxthor, newly assigned to lead the Illyrian response, paced the bridge of his flagship. "Deploy the scout ships," he ordered, his multifaceted eyes narrowing. "We must test the humans' defenses." The first direct conflict between humans and aliens occurred just days later. Earth's defense satellites detected an Illyrian scout ship attempting to penetrate the perimeter. Admiral Hawthorne, monitoring the situation from Space Force Command, made a split-second decision. "Activate countermeasures," he ordered. "Disable that ship, but do not destroy it." The defense satellites sprang to life, emitting pulses of concentrated dark matter energy. The Illyrian ship, caught off guard by the advanced technology, spiraled out of control before being captured by Earth's gravity. As the disabled alien vessel was towed to a secure facility, Stephen received an urgent call. "Dr. Cooper, we need you at the crash site immediately." Admiral Hawthorne's voice crackled through the secure line. "This is our chance to level the playing field." Stephen arrived at the top-secret location to find a flurry of activity. Scientists and engineers swarmed around the sleek Illyrian ship, its hull shimmering with an otherworldly iridescence. "Let's see what secrets you're hiding," Stephen murmured as he stepped into the alien craft. The interior was a marvel of advanced technology, far beyond anything humanity had achieved. But as he studied the ship's systems, Stephen realized something extraordinary. The alien technology could be integrated with their dark matter advancements. As Earth scientists began the painstaking process of reverse engineering the Illyrian technology, tensions in space escalated. High Commander Zaxthor, enraged by the loss of the scout ship, intensified the Illyrian blockade of the solar system. "Cut off all interstellar communications," he commanded. "Isolate the humans. Let's see how they fare without outside interference. But Zaxtor's strategy had an unintended effect. News of the alien blockade spread across Earth, uniting humanity like never before. Nations that had once been bitter enemies now worked together, pooling resources and knowledge in the face of this common threat. In the midst of this global cooperation, Stephen made a startling discovery while studying the Illyrian ship's databanks. "This can't be right," he muttered, double-checking the translated alien text. "Admiral Hawthorne, you need to see this." The Admiral rushed to Stephen's side, his eyes widening as he read the screen. An ancient human colony? On a distant planet? How is this possible? "I don't know," Stephen replied, his mind blown with the implications. "But if this is true, it changes everything we thought we knew about our place in the galaxy." As Earth continued to advance technologically, integrating dark matter power with reverse-engineered alien tech, ripples spread through the galactic community. In a distant sector of space, the Arcturus Collective, a highly advanced but peaceful civilization, took notice of the rapidly evolving situation. After much deliberation, the Arcturians made a decision. A secret transmission was sent, bypassing the Illyrian blockade and reaching Stephen's secure terminal. "Greetings, Dr. Stephen Cooper of Earth," the message read. "We are the Arcturus Collective. We have been observing your remarkable progress and wish to extend an offer of alliance. The galaxy is changing, and we believe humanity has a crucial role to play in shaping its future." As Stephen stared at the message, his heart racing with excitement and apprehension, he was unaware of another significant development. In the shadows of the GDMI facility, Rosa, the Illyrian xenobiologist, made a fateful decision. Conflicted by her growing admiration for human ingenuity and her loyalty to the Illyrian Empire, Rosa began to covertly feed information to Stephen. Detailed schematics of Illyrian weapon systems and battle strategies found their way into his secure files, marked with a simple signature, "A friend." The stage was set for a dramatic shift in the balance of galactic power. Earth, once an isolated world, now stood at the threshold of becoming a major player in interstellar politics. The actions of Stephen Cooper, the TDC, and their unexpected allies in the coming days would determine whether this new chapter in human history would be written in the ink of diplomacy or the fire of interstellar war. Conflict or the fire of interstellar warfare. As the gravity of the situation settled over the TDC, Stephen's mind raced with possibilities. The dark matter reactor, once a mere scientific curiosity, now held the key to humanity's survival and potential dominance in the galaxy. He turned to Admiral Hawthorne, a plan already forming in his mind. "Admiral, I believe we can push our technology even further," Stephen said, his eyes alight with willpower. "If we can adapt the dark matter reactor for propulsion, we could create a fleet capable of interstellar travel." Hawthorne's eyebrows shot up. "Interstellar travel? That's a bold claim, Dr. Cooper. How soon can you have a prototype ready?" "With the resources of the TDC at our disposal, we could have a working model within months," Stephen replied, his fingers flying over his tablet as he pulled up preliminary designs. The next few months were a whirlwind of activity. The GDMI facility in Switzerland became the epicenter of a global effort to advance human technology. Scientists and engineers from around the world converged on the Alpine complex, working tirelessly to bring Stephen's vision to life. As the work progressed, Stephen found himself spending more and more time with Rosa, the Illyrian xenobiologist. Her insights into alien technology proved invaluable, and Stephen couldn't help but feel a growing connection with the enigmatic alien. "Your species continues to surprise me, Stephen," Rosa said one evening as they pored over schematics. "The speed at which you adapt and innovate, it's unprecedented in my experience." Stephen smiled, a mix of pride and humility in his expression. "We've had to learn quickly. The stakes couldn't be higher." Their conversation was interrupted by an urgent call from Admiral Hawthorne. Cooper, get to the launch pad immediately. We're ready for the first test flight. The TDS Prometheus, Earth's first interstellar-capable warship, stood proudly on the launch pad, its sleek design a testament to the marriage of human ingenuity and reverse-engineered alien technology. Stephen's heart raced as he boarded the vessel alongside Admiral Hawthorne and a hand-picked crew of Earth's finest. As the ship lifted off, its dark matter propulsion system humming with power, Stephen felt a surge of exhilaration. The Prometheus cut through Earth's atmosphere with ease, and within minutes, they were approaching the Illyrian blockade. All hands battle stations. Hawthorne's voice rang out through the ship's intercom. We're about to make history. The tension on the bridge was palpable as the Prometheus faced off against a fleet of Illyrian warships. High Commander Zack Thor's face appeared on the main view screen, his alien features contorted in a mix of surprise and anger. Humans, Zack Thor's voice crackled through the speakers. Your audacity knows no bounds. Turn back now, or face the consequences. Admiral Hawthorne stepped forward, his voice steady. We will not be contained within our own solar system, Commander. We come with an offer of peace, but we are prepared to defend ourselves if necessary. The standoff stretched on, seconds feeling like hours as both sides waited for the other to make a move. Suddenly, alarms blared across both human and Illyrian ships. A massive energy surge erupted from a distant point in space, momentarily disrupting all systems. As the crew of the Prometheus scrambled to regain control, Stephen's mind raced. The energy signature was unlike anything he had ever seen, yet somehow familiar. As the systems came back online, he turned to Admiral Hawthorne. Sir, I believe I know the source of that energy, Stephen said, his voice tight with excitement. It's coming from the coordinates of the ancient human colony world we discovered in the Illyrian databanks. Hawthorne's eyes widened with realization. Cooper, are you suggesting? Before he could finish, another transmission cut through the tension. It was Rosa, her image flickering on a secondary screen. Stephen, High Commander Zack Thor is requesting a joint expedition to investigate the energy source. He's intrigued by the possibility of ancient human technology. Stephen exchanged a look with Hawthorne, who nodded his approval. Tell the commander we accept, Stephen replied, his heart pounding with anticipation. As the unlikely alliance of human and Illyrian ships set course for the mysterious planet, Stephen couldn't help but feel that they were on the brink of a discovery that would change the course of galactic history. The stars streaked by outside the viewports of the Prometheus, each one a silent witness to humanity's first steps into a much larger universe. Little did they know that the ancient world they were approaching held secrets that would shake the foundations of both human and Illyrian societies. As they drew closer to their destination, Stephen prepared himself for whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing that the fate of Earth and perhaps the entire galaxy hung in the balance. Balance in the galaxy hung in the balance. As the joint human-Illyrian expedition neared the coordinates of the mysterious energy source, the tension on the bridge of the Prometheus was palpable. Suddenly, the ship sensors lit up like a Christmas tree. Energy readings off the chart, sir, called out the science officer. We're approaching a planet, and it's unlike anything we've ever seen. As they entered orbit, the crew gasped in awe. The planet below them, which they would later name Nova Terra, was a swirling mass of blue-green oceans and lush continents. But what truly caught their attention was the massive structure that dominated one of the larger land masses, a colossal array of gleaming metal and crystalline formations that seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy. My God! Breathed Admiral Hawthorne. What is that thing? Stephen's eyes were wide with excitement and trepidation. If I had to guess, sir, I'd say it's some kind of star-harnessing device. The amount of power it must be capable of generating, it's almost beyond comprehension. As they prepared to send down a joint human-Illyrian landing party, Stephen couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and dread. The possibilities this discovery presented were staggering, but so were the potential consequences of misusing such power. The moment their boots touched the surface of Nova Terra, Stephen knew their world would never be the same. The air hummed with energy, and every step seemed to resonate with the planet's hidden power. As they approached the massive structure, Stephen's mind raced with possibilities. Over the next few days, human and Illyrian scientists worked side by side, unraveling the mysteries of the ancient technology. Stephen found himself working closely with Rosa, their shared curiosity and intellect bridging the gap between their species. "Stephen, look at this," Rosa called out, her multifaceted eyes glittering with excitement. She pointed to a series of complex equations scrolling across her data pad. "These energy conversion ratios. They're beyond anything we've ever achieved." Stephen nodded, his own excitement building. "If we can replicate this technology, it could solve Earth's energy crisis overnight. We could power entire cities, fleets of starships, or weapons capable of destroying entire solar systems," a gruff voice interjected. High Commander Zaxtor approached, his expression unreadable. "We must tread carefully with this knowledge, humans. The power to create is also the power to destroy." As the days turned into weeks, the team made rapid progress in understanding and replicating the ancient technology. Earth scientists, working around the clock, constructed the first stellar energy collector within a month of the initial discovery. The impact was immediate and profound. Earth's power output skyrocketed, catapulting human technology forward by decades, if not centuries. Admiral Hawthorne, recognizing the strategic importance of this advancement, ordered the immediate integration of stellar energy collectors into Earth's growing fleet. The Prometheus, already a formidable vessel, underwent a major retrofit. When it emerged from the shipyards, it was a ship transformed faster, more powerful, and armed with weapons that could outgun any known alien vessel. As news of Earth's technological leap spread across the galaxy, the political landscape shifted dramatically. The Arcturus Collective, seeing an opportunity to challenge Illyrian dominance, reached out to Earth with a proposal for a formal alliance. John Martinez, Earth's newly appointed ambassador to galactic affairs, found himself thrust into high-stakes negotiations. The future of humanity's place in the galactic community hung on his every word. Meanwhile, the Illyrian Empire faced its own internal struggles. High Commander Zaxtor, caught between hardliners calling for aggressive action against Earth and reformists advocating for cooperation, struggled to maintain control. Rosa, now a leader among the reformist faction, argued passionately for peaceful cooperation. "We've seen what humans are capable of," she addressed a gathering of Illyrian leaders. "Do we want them as allies or enemies?" As Earth continued to advance and expand, establishing colonies in nearby star systems, other races began to take notice. The Jur Confederation, known for their aggressive expansion, viewed humanity's rise as a direct challenge to their ambitions. On Nova Terra, Stephen's team made a chilling discovery. Evidence suggested that the ancient human civilization's downfall was linked to the misuse of stellar energy technology. The implications were clear. The power they now wielded could be as much a curse as a blessing. As tensions rose across the galaxy, Admiral Hawthorne implemented a bold strategy. Cloaked stellar energy collectors were deployed in key systems throughout the galaxy, creating a hidden network of power sources for Earth's fleet. The galaxy teetered on the brink of all-out war. Earth's rapid rise to power had disrupted the existing order, and every race was forced to reassess their position. As Stephen Cooper raced against time to find a peaceful solution, he couldn't shake the feeling that the knowledge gained from Nova Terra might be the key to either humanity's greatest triumph or its ultimate downfall. The Prometheus, now under the command of Captain Sarah O'Neill, patrolled the edges of Earth's expanding territory. As she stood on the bridge, watching the stars streak by, she couldn't help but wonder what challenges lay ahead in this new era of galactic politics and advanced technology. Technology! Little did she know that her ship and crew would soon be thrust into the heart of a galactic conflict. The calm of space was shattered by a priority transmission from Earth Command. Captain O'Neill's heart raced as she read the urgent message. A human research outpost near Illyrian space had come under attack. "All hands to battle stations," she commanded, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "Helm, set course for the compromised outpost, maximum speed." As the Prometheus and its task force surged through space, tensions across the galaxy escalated rapidly. Earth's response was swift and decisive. Admiral James Hawthorne activated the hidden network of stellar energy collectors, powering up Earth's fleet to unprecedented levels. The bridge of the Prometheus hummed with energy as Captain O'Neill received her orders directly from Admiral Hawthorne. "Captain, your primary objective is to secure the outpost and rescue Dr. Marcus Turner and his team. We can't afford to lose their research or their lives." As Earth's forces mobilized, news spread of a coup within the Illyrian Empire. High Commander Zaxthor had been ousted by General Vexmar, a notorious hardliner. The consequences were immediate and dire. "Incoming transmission from Earth," the communications officer announced. "It's Ambassador Martinez." John Martinez's face appeared on the main view screen, his expression grim. "Captain O'Neill, the situation has deteriorated. General Vexmar has declared war on Earth and our allies. The Arcturus Collective is deploying their fleets to support us, but we're facing a three-front war. The Jur Confederation has launched attacks on both Earth and Illyrian territories." O'Neill's mind raced as she processed the information. "Understood, Ambassador. We're approaching the outpost now. We'll secure it and await further orders." The Prometheus dropped out of FTL on the edge of the system. The scene that greeted them was one of chaos. Illyrian warships swarmed around the research station, their weapons leaving scorch marks on its hull. "Target the lead Illyrian vessel," O'Neill ordered. "Fire when ready." The Prometheus's weapons, supercharged by the stellar energy collectors, lanced out across space. The lead Illyrian ship's shields buckled under the onslaught, then failed completely. A second volley reduced it to a drifting hulk. The battle was fierce but short. Earth's task force, empowered by the new technology, made short work of the Illyrian attackers. As the last enemy ship retreated, O'Neill turned her attention to the damaged outpost. "Status of the station?" she demanded. "Life support is failing, but we're detecting multiple life signs," her tactical officer reported. "They don't have much time." O'Neill made a quick decision. "Prepare for emergency evacuation. I want those scientists on board within the next 10 minutes." As her crew worked to rescue the outpost personnel, O'Neill received another transmission, this time from Nova Terra. It was Stephen Cooper, his face etched with concern. "Captain, we've made a breakthrough here," he said urgently. "The ancient human civilization's fall wasn't an accident. They deliberately misused the stellar energy to prevent it from falling into enemy hands. We need to be extremely cautious with this technology." O'Neill nodded, the weight of this revelation settling on her shoulders. "Understood, Dr. Cooper. We'll relay this information to Earth Command immediately." As the last of the scientists were brought aboard, including the renowned Dr. Marcus Turner, O'Neill's tactical officer called out, "Captain, we're detecting a massive energy buildup in the Proxima Centauri system. It looks like a joint Illyrian assault on our colonies there." O'Neill's eyebrows furrowed. "Set course for Proxima Centauri, maximum speed. Alert all ships in the task force. We're about to face the first major battle of this war." As the Prometheus and its fleet jumped to FTL, O'Neill couldn't help but feel that the fate of humanity and the entire galaxy hung in the balance. The power they now wielded could save them or doom them all. As they hurtled towards what would undoubtedly be a defining moment in galactic history, she silently vowed to use every tool at her disposal to protect Earth and its allies. The stars streaked by outside the viewports, each one a silent witness to the unfolding drama. The crew of the Prometheus, along with the rescued scientists, prepared themselves for the battle ahead, knowing that their actions in the coming hours would shape the course of the war and the future of interstellar relations for generations to come. Come, the Prometheus emerged from FDL on the outskirts of the Proxima Centauri system, its sensors immediately detecting the chaos of battle. Captain O'Neill's eyes narrowed as she surveyed the tactical display, watching the furious exchange of fire between Earth's colonial defense forces and the Illyrian fleet. "Status report," she ordered, her voice calm despite the gravity of the situation. "Enemy forces outnumber our defenders 3-1. Lieutenant Chin reported from Tactical. Our colonies are holding, but their shields are weakening. They won't last much longer without reinforcement." O'Neill nodded, her mind racing through potential strategies. "Deploy the task force in a wedge formation. We'll punch through their lines and provide cover for the colonial ships to regroup." As the Prometheus and its escort vessels surged forward, the ship's communications officer called out, "Captain, incoming transmission from Earth Command. It's marked urgent." "On screen," O'Neill replied, her gaze never leaving the battle unfolding before her. Admiral Hawthorne's face appeared, his expression grim. "Captain O'Neill, the situation has escalated beyond our worst projections. We're convening an emergency meeting of the Terran Defense Council to determine our next course of action. I need you to hold the line at Proxima Centauri at all costs. Earth can't afford to lose this system." "Understood, Admiral. We'll do whatever it takes," O'Neill assured him, even as she watched an Earth frigate explode under concentrated enemy fire. The transmission ended, and O'Neill turned her full attention back to the battle. "Helm, bring us in close to that Illyrian dreadnought. Weapons, target their primary power conduits. Let's show them what our new stellar energy cannons can do." The Prometheus dove into the fray, its advanced weapons lashing out with unprecedented power. The Illyrian dreadnought's shields buckled under the assault, and subsequent volleys tore through its hull. As the massive ship began to list, the tide of battle slowly turned in Earth's favor. Hours passed in a blur of tactical maneuvers, weapons fire, and damage reports. By the time the last Illyrian ship retreated, the Prometheus's hull was scarred and smoking, but Proxima Centauri remained under Earth's control. As the adrenaline of battle faded, O'Neill received another transmission, this time from Nova Terra. Stephen Cooper's face appeared on the screen, his eyes alight with a mixture of excitement and urgency. "Captain, we've made a critical discovery," he said, his words tumbling out in a rush. "The ancient human civilization left behind more than just stellar energy technology. We've found evidence of a device that could potentially neutralize these weapons entirely." O'Neill's eyebrows shot up. "That's incredible, Dr. Cooper. But why are you telling me this? Shouldn't you be reporting to Earth Command?" Stephen nodded. "I am, but I needed to warn you. The Terran Defense Council is considering implementing something called the Energy Barrier Strategy. It could end the war quickly, but at a terrible cost. We need more time to explore this peaceful alternative." Before O'Neill could respond, her tactical officer interrupted. "Captain, we're receiving new orders from Earth. We're to return immediately for an emergency refit and briefing." O'Neill acknowledged the order, then turned back to Stephen. "We're on our way back, Dr. Cooper. I'll make sure your concerns are heard." As the Prometheus set course for Earth, O'Neill couldn't shake the feeling that they were racing against time. The ship's stellar energy-powered engines propelled them through space at unprecedented speeds. But Would it be fast enough to prevent a decision that could change the course of the war and the destiny of the universe? Days later, the Prometheus docked at Earth's orbital shipyard. O'Neill made her way to the Terran Defense Council chambers, where she found herself in the midst of a heated debate. Admiral Hawthorne was presenting his plan for the energy barrier strategy, while Stephen Cooper and Dr. Marcus Turner argued passionately for more time to explore their alternative solution. The energy barrier strategy is our best chance to end this war quickly and decisively, Hawthorne insisted, his fist coming down on the table for emphasis. We can create an impenetrable shield around our territories, cutting off the Illyrian forces from their supply lines. They'll be forced to surrender within weeks. Stephen shook his head vehemently. But at what cost, Admiral? The energy requirements for such a barrier would be astronomical. We could be looking at ecological disasters on a planetary scale, not to mention the potential for the barrier to be weaponized. Dr. Turner stepped forward, his voice calm but intense. Council members, the device we've discovered on Nova Terra could render stellar energy weapons useless without causing widespread destruction. We just need more time to understand and adapt the technology. The council chamber erupted into a flurry of arguments and counter-arguments. O'Neill watched as the fate of humanity and countless alien races hung in the balance, decided by the words and wills of those in this room. Finally, after hours of debate, the council reached a compromise. Admiral Hawthorne would begin preparations for the energy barrier strategy, but Stephen and his team would have 2 weeks to find an alternative solution using the Nova Terra device. As the council adjourned, O'Neill approached Stephen and Dr. Turner. How can the Prometheus assist in your research? She asked, keenly aware that the next 2 weeks could determine the course of galactic history. Stephen's eyes lit up with drive. We need to get back to Nova Terra immediately. Every minute counts now. And, Captain, we might need your ship for more than just transport. If we're successful, the Prometheus could be the key to ending this war without further bloodshed. O'Neill nodded, a mix of hope and apprehension filling her. As she led the scientist towards her ship, she knew that the greatest challenge of her career and the future of humanity was just beginning. As she led the scientist towards her ship, she knew that the greatest challenge of her career and the future of humanity was just starting. The Prometheus's engines roared to life, propelling the ship out of Earth's orbit and towards Nova Terra. Captain O'Neill stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the swirling colors of FDL travel outside the view screen. She couldn't shake the feeling that they were racing against time itself. "Ite to Nova Terra?" she asked, turning to her navigation officer. 3 hours, Captain," came the reply. "Our new stellar energy drive is pushing us to speeds we've never achieved before." O'Neill nodded, then turned to Stephen Cooper and Dr. Marcus Turner, who were hunched over a console, reviewing data. "Gentlemen, I need an update. What exactly are we dealing with here?" Stephen looked up, his eyes bright with excitement despite the dark circles beneath them. "The device we discovered appears to be a stellar energy neutralizer. If we can get it working, it could render all stellar energy weapons useless." Dr. Turner chimed in, his fingers flying over the console as he spoke. "The problem is, we're not sure how to activate it on a large scale. We need to get back to the site and run more tests." As they neared Nova Terra, O'Neill received an urgent communication from Earth. Admiral Hawthorne's face appeared on the screen, his expression grave. "Captain, we've received intelligence that the Illyrian fleet is massing in the Sirius system. We believe they're planning a major offensive." O'Neill's face hardened. "Understood, Admiral. We're almost at Nova Terra. As soon as we have something workable, we'll head to Sirius." The next few days were a blur of activity. On Nova Terra, Stephen and Dr. Turner worked tirelessly, making breakthrough after breakthrough. O'Neill split her time between overseeing their work and preparing her crew for the inevitable confrontation. Finally, after what felt like an eternity of waiting, Stephen approached O'Neill with a look of triumphant exhaustion on his face. "We've done it, Captain. We've managed to create a working prototype of the neutralizer. It's not perfect, but it's our best shot." O'Neill wasted no time. Within hours, the Prometheus was racing towards the Sirius system, the experimental device secured in its main laboratory. As they dropped out of FDL on the outskirts of the system, the sight that greeted them was both awe-inspiring and terrifying. The massive Illyrian fleet hung in space like a swarm of angry hornets, their ships glinting in the light of Sirius. O'Neill quickly ordered her ship into a defensive formation, flanked by the small escort of Earth's most advanced vessels that had accompanied them. "All hands, battle stations," O'Neill commanded, her voice steady despite the tension that filled the bridge. "Activate the neutralizer." In the main laboratory, Stephen and Dr. Turner made final adjustments to their device. With a nod to each other, they activated it, projecting a barely visible energy field around the Prometheus and its escorts. The effect was almost immediate. The Illyrian fleet, seemingly caught off guard by the sudden appearance of Earth ships, launched a barrage of stellar energy weapons. O'Neill and her crew watched in tense silence as the destructive beams hurtled towards them. But as the energy weapons entered the projected field, they flickered and dissipated harmlessly. A cheer erupted on the bridge of the Prometheus as the crew realized the neutralizer had worked. Their celebration was short-lived, however. The Illyrian fleet, quickly adapting to this new development, began to swarm towards the Earth ships. Thousands of fighters poured out of the larger vessels, their intention clear: to overwhelm the Prometheus and its escorts through sheer numbers. O'Neill's tactical training kicked in. Helm, evasive maneuvers, weapons, target those fighters. Let's show them what our stellar energy cannons can do when they're not being neutralized. The space around the Prometheus erupted into chaos as Earth's small fleet engaged the massive enemy force. The advanced weapons of the Prometheus cut through the enemy fighters with surgical precision, but for every one they destroyed, it seemed two more took its place. As the battle raged on, O'Neill received another transmission from Earth. Admiral Hawthorne's face appeared on the screen, his expression a mix of concern and grit. "Captain, we're activating the hidden network of stellar energy collectors. Prepare for a massive power surge." Before O'Neill could respond, she felt the deck plates beneath her feet vibrate as an enormous amount of energy flooded into the Prometheus. In the main laboratory, Stephen and Dr. Turner worked frantically to channel this new influx of power into the neutralizer. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The neutralization field expanded rapidly, encompassing a significant portion of the Sirius system. Across the battlefield, Illyrian and ships suddenly found their energy weapons and shields failing. Seizing the opportunity, O'Neill ordered a counterattack. The Prometheus surged forward, its weapons tearing through the now defenseless enemy vessels. As the tide of battle turned, O'Neill noticed a change in the enemy's formation. A significant portion of the fleet was breaking off, leaving their Illyrian allies to face the brunt of the Earth attack. "Captain," her communications officer called out, "we're receiving a transmission from the Illyrian flagship." O'Neill nodded, her eyes never leaving the tactical display. On screen, the face that appeared was one she recognized from intelligence briefings: General Vexmar, the leader of the Illyrian forces. His expression was a mixture of anger and grudging respect. "Captain O'Neill," he began, his voice strained, "it seems the battle is yours. I request a ceasefire and am prepared to enter negotiations." O'Neill allowed herself a small smile. This was an opportunity they couldn't afford to waste. "Understood, General. We accept your request for a ceasefire. Prepare to receive a delegation from Earth to begin peace talks." As the transmission ended, O'Neill turned to her crew. The bridge was silent, the weight of what they had just accomplished settling over everyone. They had not only won a decisive battle, but had potentially brought an end to a war that had threatened to tear the galaxy apart. "Comm officer," O'Neill said, breaking the silence, "contact Earth. Inform them of the ceasefire and request instructions for the peace negotiations." As her officer carried out the order, O'Neill's gaze drifted back to the view screen. The Illyrian fleet hung motionless against the backdrop of the Sirius system, a testament to the incredible turn of events that had just unfolded. She knew that the coming days and weeks would be crucial in shaping the future of not just humanity, but the entire galaxy. With a deep breath, she began preparing for the next phase of their mission, turning this hard-won victory into a lasting peace. The challenges ahead were numerous, but for the first time since the war began, O'Neill felt a genuine sense of hope for the future. The challenges ahead were numerous, but for the first time since the war began, O'Neill felt a genuine sense of hope for the galaxy's future. As the Prometheus led the remnants of the Illyrian fleet back to Earth, a palpable sense of anticipation filled the ship. The crew worked with renewed vigor, their recent victory energizing them despite their exhaustion. O'Neill stood on the bridge, watching as the familiar blue orb of Earth grew larger in the view screen. "Captain," her communications officer called out, "we're receiving a transmission from Terran Defense Council headquarters. They're requesting your presence at the newly constructed Galactic Peace Hall in Geneva immediately upon our arrival." O'Neill nodded, her mind already racing with the implications. "Understood. Inform them we'll be docking within the hour." As the Prometheus settled into its berth at the orbital shipyard, O'Neill couldn't help but marvel at the flurry of activity surrounding them. Ships from a dozen different species darted between the massive structures, their designs as varied as the races that created them. Upon disembarking, O'Neill was whisked away to Geneva, where she found herself standing before the imposing facade of the Galactic Peace Hall. The building's sleek lines and shimmering force fields spoke of both Earth's technological prowess and its aspirations for a peaceful future. Inside, the main chamber buzzed with activity. Delegates from Earth and its allies mingled with the Illyrian representatives, their voices a cacophony of different languages and translators. At the center of it all stood Ambassador John Martinez, his calm demeanor a stark contrast to the nervous energy permeating the room. As the negotiations began, O'Neill found herself more observer than participant, watching as Martinez skillfully navigated the complex web of interspecies politics. The discussions were tense, centuries of mistrust and recent conflict weighing heavily on all parties. "The neutralization technology," Martinez was saying, his voice firm but respectful, "is non-negotiable. It will serve as a safeguard for all parties involved." General Vexmar, the Illyrian leader, leaned forward, his mandibles clicking in agitation. "And who will control this technology? Are we to simply trust that Earth won't use it to dominate the galaxy?" Stephen Cooper, seated next to O'Neill, spoke up. "The technology will be jointly controlled by all signatories of the treaty. No single race will have unilateral power over it." As the days turned into weeks, O'Neill watched the negotiations unfold. Slowly but surely, progress was made. The Sirius Accords began to take shape, outlining a new galactic order with Earth at its center. On the day of the signing ceremony, O'Neill stood at attention as representatives from Earth, the Arcturus Collective, and the reformed Illyrian Empire put pen to paper. The chamber erupted in applause as the historic document was finalized, marking the beginning of a new era of galactic cooperation. As the celebrations began, O'Neill allowed herself a moment of relief. However, her respite was short-lived. A commotion near the communication terminals caught her attention. Dr. Marcus Turner's face appeared on the main screen, his expression grave. "Captain O'Neill, Ambassador Martinez, we have a situation on Nova Terra. I've uncovered something disturbing." The room fell silent as Turner explained his findings. The ancient human civilization's fall, the extragalactic threat known as the Void Heralds, their imminent return. Each revelation sent shockwaves through the assembled delegates. As Turner's transmission ended, the chamber erupted into chaos. Voices raised in alarm, demands for action, calls for further investigation. In the midst of the tumult, O'Neill locked eyes with Stephen Cooper. His expression mirrored her own thoughts. Their work was a long way to go. Ambassador Martinez quickly called for order. Ladies and gentlemen, we face a threat unlike any we've encountered before. But we face it united, with the combined strength and knowledge of our civilizations. In the days that followed, an emergency session of the newly formed Galactic Union was convened. Stephen Cooper presented his plan, outlining the steps needed to prepare for the coming invasion. As Cooper spoke, O'Neill felt a familiar sense of purpose settling over her. She knew that the Prometheus would play a crucial role in the coming preparations. As if reading her thoughts, Admiral James Hawthorne approached her after the session. "Captain O'Neill," he said, his voice grave but determined, "I'm appointing you to lead the deep space expedition. Your mission will be to gather intelligence on the Void Heralds. It's a dangerous assignment, but I can think of no one better suited for the task." O'Neill straightened, meeting the Admiral's gaze. "I understand. So when do we depart?" "As soon as the Prometheus can be outfitted with the latest technology from Novaterra," Hawthorne replied. "We're going to need every advantage we can get." As O'Neill left the chamber, her mind was already racing with preparations. The galaxy was changing rapidly, and humanity stood at the center of it all. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she knew that the crew of the Prometheus would face them head-on. The next few weeks passed in a blur of activity. Earth had become a hub of scientific and military preparation, with representatives from hundreds of alien races working together in an unprecedented show of unity. The orbital shipyards buzzed with activity as the combined fleet of the Galactic Defense Force took shape. O'Neill watched from the observation deck of the Prometheus as the final modifications were made to her ship. The vessel had been outfitted with technology that would have seemed like science fiction just a few months ago. Faster-than-light drives based on principles discovered in Novaterra's archives, weapon systems that could harness the power of stars, and defensive capabilities that could withstand the fury of a supernova. As she prepared for departure, O'Neill received a communication from Stephen Cooper. "Captain," he said, his voice filled with a mix of excitement and trepidation, "we've activated a holographic message left by the ancient humans on Novaterra. I think you should see this before you leave." O'Neill made her way to the holographic chamber, where she found Cooper and a group of alien dignitaries gathered around a shimmering projection. The image showed a being that looked remarkably human, yet somehow more advanced. The ancient human spoke, its voice echoing through millennia. "To those who find this message, heed our warning. The Void Heralds are coming, as they have come before. They are the antithesis of life, the entropy of the cosmos given form. We fought them to the brink of extinction, but we did not fall in vain. Our legacy, our technology, our very essence, we leave it all to you, the inheritors of our world. Unite, prepare, and stand strong against the coming storm." As the message faded, O'Neill felt the weight of history and the future pressing down upon her. She turned to Cooper, her voice steady despite the gravity of the moment. "We won't let them down, Stephen. We'll face this threat, and we'll overcome it." Cooper nodded, a grim smile on his face. "Good luck out there, Sarah. The fate of the stars may well rest on what you discover." O'Neill made her way back to the Prometheus, her steps filled with purpose. As she stepped onto the bridge, her crew snapped to attention. She looked at each of them in turn, seeing the willpower in their eyes. "Helm," she said, settling into the captain's chair. "Set course for the edge of known space. It's time we introduced ourselves to the Void Heralds." As the Prometheus disengaged from the shipyard, O'Neill watched Earth recede in the view screen. The once insignificant blue marble now stood as the linchpin of galactic civilization, the last bastion against an unimaginable threat. With a final look at her home world, O'Neill gave the order, "Engage FTL drive. Let's see what's out there." The stars stretched into streaks of light as the Prometheus leapt into the unknown, carrying with it the hopes and fears of a united galaxy. Whatever lay ahead, O'Neill knew that this was only the beginning of humanity's greatest adventure.
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.